Never Split the Difference by Voss. Chris is a former FBI hostage negotiator who dealt with high stakes and shows you how to negotiate without making compromises. How he works is by having the opponent give you everything. His negotiation tactic can be also phrased as the art of someone else giving you your way. So how does he do this? In one scenario, Chris goes to a college where he pretends to sell a product to a student. The teacher, who is used to having her student negotiate a price in the middle of the spectrum, is surprised to find that Chris has negotiated with them to where the buyer, which in this case is the student, gave Chris their full budget when these students even knew every negotiation technique possible. How Chris was able to achieve this was by a method called tactical empathy. This method is based off sincere mutual empathy, where both parties sympathize with each side's situation. This helps the negotiator walk away with all the benefits, and the other individual, even though they have negotiated away all their benefits, feel like they have won as well and feel satisfied. As the prime negotiator, you want the other person or the counterpart to do all the talking. This gives you the advantage to where they spill all the details, and you only step in to vocalize for clarification. Being a listener helps the other party feel heard and helps keep their defenses down. This is important because when they first enter a negotiation, their defenses are naturally up as they don't think they will be heard. So how do you know if they are feeling heard? By getting them to say, "That's right." This is how you know they are willing to listen and negotiate. How do you get them to say "that's right"? Well, listen to the emotions behind what they are saying and empathize with that emotion so that you are tailoring to their cares and concerns about the negotiation. Then make a concise statement that starts with, "It seems like," or "It sounds like." This keeps their guard down because you are not telling them what they think. You are telling them what you think you are hearing and wait for their confirmation about it. That way, if you are wrong in your concise statement, you can say, "I hear you. It seems like," and continue the negotiation. This shows that you hear them, and based off what they are saying, it seems like they have specific concerns, or it seems like they really have a passion, etc. Then once you hear "that's right," you can start to make them empathize with your situation and begin the actual negotiation. For example, imagine a salesperson who is selling computers to a school that has never had computers before. It's a small town school with kids in grades K through 12. The principal she is selling to has already made his mind up before hearing her pitch. The salesperson notices that the principal's guard is up on every talking point until he starts to talk about the kids. When discussing the student's education, his tone changes and he becomes more open. The salesperson says, "It feels like you really care about the education and well-being of every one of your students. I can tell how much you care about them." The principal pauses and says, "That's right, I do. I feel like our entire school system is crumbling and I'm failing at giving them everything they need. The students rebel and I have no support from upper staff, so I am feeling alone in giving them everything I can." The salesperson notices his guard is down and realizes that he starts asking more questions about the product. And this is when she decides to give her pitch. She lists the long-term financial benefits, the warranty of the computers, and how much it could help her student for years to come, even after he leaves by signing up for her company's educational program. The principal is finally willing to purchase a package and supply the entire school with computers. Now, looking at empathy, the best way to get them to empathize with your situation is to ask open-ended questions that begin with how or what, and then listen to them and see if they are understanding your problem. Let them respond and keep talking to fill the silence while you patiently listen. This turns the confrontation into problem-solving conversation where they are now wondering how they can help you with your problem. What is the ultimate calibrated question for you to use? How am I supposed to do that? Make sure you ask this calibrated question in the form of "it seems like" or "it sounds like." For example, imagine your boss wants you to work mandatory overtime every day for the next month when you already have a 2-hour work commute. You respond upon hearing this order with, It seems like you are concerned with getting the work done in a timely manner, so you are willing to sacrifice company money in order to get that done. But how am I supposed to focus and get all the work done if I already have a 2-hour commute and will be exhausted by the end of first week? It seems like I will have excessive burnout and lose focus from being overworked. This is basically showing that you recognize your boss's intellect and viewpoint, helps them to see your problem, gets them to think of your problem, and turns their thinking into how do we fix your problem. Now, normally, a counterpart has two responses to a calibrated question. They either find a solution that benefits both parties, or they rescind their offer or decrease their initial offer and still provide you some benefit. If at this point you are still not where you want to be, you can retaliate with this question. That is very generous of you, but I still don't see how I'm supposed to focus and achieve more work by working overtime when I can just find a job closer to my current location where I will work less hours and get paid the same amount. It feels like this overtime would be just too exhausting. So politely countering the offer with another, how am I supposed to do that question is the key to how Chris Voss and many other top negotiators get everything they want out of the negotiation to always win. Now that you have some tools from a top negotiator in the FBI, go try them out. You may be surprised how good it feels to get your way every time.